The NBA world is preparing to say goodbye to one of the greatest point guards ever, and you might be surprised about how NBA players really feel about Chris Paul.
See, because he gets a bad rap, you know, that he's a bad person or a bad teammate. And I tell people, like, CP is kind of an acquired taste from a standpoint of he's a throwback point guard when it comes to getting his point across. He's one of those 80s or 90s guys. If he has to cuss, he'll do it, whatever the situation may be. And these guys today kind of need to be pampered with the message. Like, CP wasn't that kind of guy.
The funny part is NBA players have always had strong opinions about CP. Some think he's a genius, some think he is annoying. Most agree that he is one of the most competitive humans to ever touch a basketball.
But nah, it's my brother, and he's one of the most competitive people I've ever seen in sport. And that's why I think a lot of that is there, because he'll do whatever it takes to win.
So let us start with the version of Chris Paul that every teammate sees from day one. The part of him that never stops working and never lets you relax. Jamal Crawford knew immediately what it meant to play next to Chris Paul. Even when the team finished a full practice, CP was only getting started.
One time, I'm gonna give you a story. One time we were, you know how it is, P, when you come back from All-Star, that first practice usually hard. Not for the guys as an All-Star, but it's like a harder practice. You know what I'm saying? Like guys have been off for 5 days, whatever. And so we practiced for 3 hours. And then after that, CP and I stayed for another 2 hours, just shooting spots, one-on-one. It was the first day, and people were like, our trainer, Jason Powell, you know JP, he was like, man, y'all got to get off the court, bro. Like, we got practice again tomorrow. But that's just what it was with us.
That is the part of CP that players always talk about. The long hours, the extra reps, the obsession with getting every detail right. And as soon as he joins a team, that energy spreads fast. Just ask the young stars he pushed the moment he walked into their locker room. When Chris Paul shows up, everything changes. Young guys feel it first because he does not let you get away with anything. DeAndre Jordan lived it during the early Lob City years when he and Blake were still trying to figure everything out.
Me and Blake were very hungry before CP got there, and we was learning, but we was also like trying to put on a show at the same time. But I think once Chris got there, it kind of changed our mentality, like, nah, we not working hard enough.
And when DeAndre says CP raised the bar, he means all the way up.
I had different views of CP, like they'd be like, man, he be on you, like, but like, he like really helped us excel quickly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so smart. He expected a lot out of you too, so it's kind of like, when he got there, everything just
the
changed.
Expectations went high.
Yeah. And wait till you hear what even Draymond Green thinks about this. But that is the CP3 formula. He raises the floor of every team he touches. And it's not just the big men who see it. Some players think he literally transforms careers. Listen to Mr. Green.
CP is great with young guys. DeAndre Ayton looked like a bust before CP came to Phoenix.
Facts.
No disrespect to Ayton, but more so a nod to CP.
Yeah.
Like,
Threat,
people didn't know what they were like, what DeAndre Ayton was going to turn out to be, and then CP went there, and all of a sudden DeAndre Ayton became an all-star level player.
Right. And Draymond is not just saying that from a distance. He wants to learn from the same approach.
I look forward to learning that from him. He's always been incredible at mentoring young guys, and that is an area that I've wanted to grow in.
This is the same reason Shai Gilgeous-Alexander credits his OKC season with CP as a crash course in becoming elite. But if you think all players walked away from CP with that kind of respect, think again. Some relationships did not survive his intensity at all, and one of the most complicated ones belongs to Paul George.
I'm not the fondest of CP these days, but that's kind of where our fall off came about, you know what I mean? Because people don't know this. Me and CP used to have a great relationship, right? Like, he was the reason I got LASIK. Had a conversation with him. He recommended a eye doctor for me.
There was real trust there until one game changed everything.
A playoff matchup against Phoenix, or it was a regular season game. Can't remember which one it was, but we get into it. And words was a little, you know what I mean? Words was thrown out there that shouldn't be thrown out there between you know what I mean, 2 men. And so that kind of just drew the line for me. And I'm one of those, once you're on one side, bro, you stay in there.
Yeah.
And so absolutely, I get where that competitive nature comes from. I don't know if it's that little man syndrome.
That is the double edge of Chris Paul's fire. The same intensity that elevates some players ends friendships with others. And sometimes it spills over in ways that fans never forget. You see, there's a reason players say competing against Chris Paul feels different. He reads every detail, plays every angle, and is willing to use anything he can to win. And sometimes that leads to moments like this. Moments like that are why rival players have called him annoying, tricky, or even dirty. They say he complains to refs, flops for calls, and plays with a veteran edge that gets under people's skin. But inside locker rooms, the picture is more complicated than simple villain talk. Kenyon Martin understood the complicated version of CP better than most. He saw how people reacted to the way Chris handled team business and why some players questioned it.
People think he's a politician.
Okay.
People don't trust politicians.
Is that really it?
Yeah, he's does things within the locker room that some teammates question. Dealing with management and coaches, people deem it as sneaky.
But even with all that, Kenyon never denied what CP did on the court. And after that, we'll soon get to LeBron explaining why he thinks CP3 is the greatest point guard in the game.
Does his job well, which is...
You didn't like him?
Facilitate the ball to his teammates. He did well for Blake.
And he plays defense.
Yeah, and he made Blake a lot of money into an all-star.
He made DeAndre Jordan a lot of money.
I'm saying both of those guys, but it for some guys it's deeper than basketball. It's about relationships.
And that is the core of Chris Paul's legacy among players. Some love the leadership, some cannot stand the style. But even the ones who clashed with him admit he made people better. Yet for every player who felt divided by him, there were others who felt the complete opposite. Some saw CP not as a politician or a rival, but as family. And to this point, no story shows the softer side of Chris Paul better than the players who went from hating him to loving him. Nobody explains that evolution better than JJ Redick.
Narrative. I just know him as a human being and the teammate and the brother, and the arc of our relationship is very interesting, from going for a decade plus of quite literally hating each other to feeling like he's a part of my family.
That is the part fans never see. The intensity that annoys opponents is the same intensity that bonds teammates and makes teams better, as Curry pointed out here.
Me and him going way back to North Carolina days, and him kind of being my mentor when I was coming out of college, and being able to work out with him and learn the ropes. So one thing about CP, he said it all the time, is that he makes teams that he's on better.
So what qualities made LeBron call CP3 the greatest point guard in the league?
He's always aware. He knows the tempo of the game. He knows the score. He's always aware when he needs to pick his points. Pick his shots or get into attack and make things happen. And that's why I've always felt that he's the best point guard in the NBA.
But he can also be the person you call family when your career is on the line. And that is why even players who clashed with him never question the mind behind the fire. Chris Paul was never the easiest star to play with, and that is why so many players respect him. He pushed teammates, irritated opponents, and raised the standards of every locker room he walked into. He mentored young cores, transformed franchises, and built a legacy defined by competitiveness and IQ rather than rings. 21 years later, players talk about him like someone the league will feel missing the moment he steps away. Do you agree with that? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And let's also note that CP3 is a point god of LA. For sure one of the best to do it besides Magic for the Lakers. And speaking of the Lakers and being a point god, Luka Doncic is both Magic and a point god. Watch what Luka Doncic is doing to the NBA is historic next.